Welcome to the Midwest. Look at this. Look at this. This beautiful background. Spring is happening. The forest is waking up. And guess what? No allergies. No allergies. If you don't know why that's important for me, go watch the video about my Wim Hof method story. But today we are talking about breathing. We are going to talk a little bit about overbreathing. So Wim Hof method it includes a breathing technique where there is a great degree of overbreathing. And one of the questions I often get is, wait a minute, isn't overbreathing bad for you? Isn't overbreathing something that should be avoided? And the answer actually is yes, but let's talk a little bit about it today on Midwestern Method. Oh yeah. Okay. Pretty sweet snow angel. All right, welcome to the Midwest. I'm Jesse, and we're talking about overbreathing. So overbreathing is essentially when you're breathing in more air than you would have to, than your body actually needs. And this is something that actually people like myself often do. If you're a person who talks a lot, or if you like teacher, I'm a professor during the day when I'm not fighting crime. I'm a lowly English professor, mild-mannered, not so much. But anyway, so basically, it is very easy to fall into the habit of overbreathing. So what is overbreathing? So essentially is when we breathe too much. And why does that happen? Well, essentially it happens because we fall into, well, there's a lot of different reasons. One of the reasons why it typically happens is because of our body's pH. So one of the reasons why we need to breathe, one of the triggers for breathing is a certain degree of acidity. And so when you have a certain degree of acidity in your blood, your body says, okay, well that must mean that we have an abundance of carbon dioxide. We need to let some of that out. So let's take a breath. What that does is it releases the carbon dioxide, lets in oxygen. Oxygen is more of a basic or far more alkaline, and it restores a certain level of balance. And what happens, and so if you think about all the different ways your body can be acidic, one of them is absolutely diet, right? So when you're eating sugary foods, when you're eating processed carbs and things like that, you do change the pH. What you put into your body changes the pH of your body. So there is a certain degree of that. Another one that I struggle with a lot is caffeine. And if you've seen I had a whole video about energy drinks and about how pre-workouts and energy drinks often do put us into an induced state, an induced parasympathetic state. So it's an induced state of a fight or flight. And essentially when you're in that state, your body is preparing, essentially being chased by a bear, right? Whether or not that's actually happening, your body is ready for that. Or either that or you're about to have to attack a bear. Or maybe not a bear, but you're fighting or you're running away from something that's about to kill you. And so your body is going to go into this mode of, okay, I need a higher degree of oxygen. So your oxygen consumption goes up. So you start breathing faster, you start overbreathing, and that can cause you to fall into a habit of breathing, of overbreathing. Now, the thing is, the way this works, so far, I've just described two ways where some external stimuli causes you to breathe faster. Okay? And the reason why I was breathing faster is because my body thought, or my mind thought, that I was in this fight or flight state, so it caused me to breathe faster. So what? Well, what happens is you get into a habit of doing this, and so it becomes normal. And when it becomes normal, you don't even need that stimulus anymore. So it just feels weird not to always take a breath as soon as you empty your lungs. It feels weird not to constantly be breathing. So basically, what we have is a state of fight or flight that is induced by our own breathing pattern. And that can really be bad, because if you're constantly in the state of fight or flight, that means you're no longer in that rest and digest, that rest and recuperate dominant side. And so what that is, okay, I'm going to try not to fall. I'm walking through the forest here. Okay. That is what I just traversed. Okay. Not that impressive, but it would have really been bad for this video if I would have fallen in the mud. Oh, here's more mud. But it's too fun not to walk around in the forest. So, okay. So where was I? So essentially, your breathing pattern also informs your brain, which informs your breathing pattern, and it forms this weird feedback loop where you're constantly breathing too much, and by doing that, you put yourself in a fight or flight stage, and you're constantly in this fight or flight state. Well, we know that when you're in that state, you're not recovering, you're not healing, your body is not fully able to relax, and if you're constantly in that state, that's a bad thing. That means you're not sleeping as well as you could, you're not digesting your food as well as you could, you're not doing all of the things that other side of your psychology is designed to help you do. So, overbreathing is also something that we can overcome. And the easiest way to overcome overbreathing is conscious breathing. So, what that means is this. Okay, right now, what I'd like you to do, just to determine when you should take your next breath. Right now, just talking about breathing, you're probably even becoming more conscious of your breathing just in general. But just right now, what I'd like you to do is take a breath in, and then breathe out, and then don't breathe again. Don't breathe until you feel the actual need to breathe. You're going to feel a discomfort, and that's your body saying, "Oh, I need to breathe." That is that is the trigger that says, "Okay, now you need to take a breath." That is your body saying, "Okay, there's a certain degree of carbon dioxide that I have a certain tolerance, and I can't handle anymore." And this is going to be affected by your fitness level. It's going to be affected by what you ate that day. It's going to be affected by a lot of things. Generally, the people with a more efficient respiratory system are going to be able to go longer without needing to take that next breath. There's a very good book, The Oxygen Advantage, that deals with this very exclusively. Buteyko breathing deals with this very effectively. And I'll talk about those more on this channel later on. But I wanted to just talk briefly just about just the concept of overbreathing in this video. I see a lot of people, especially whenever discussing Wim Hof method, maybe there'll be a person, a lot of times that will say, you know, I heard that we're not supposed to overbreathe. I heard that it's not a good idea. Well, Wim Hof method is a little bit different. Wim Hof method is a very specific exercise that you wouldn't want to walk around doing all the time. That particular breathing exercise, because if you just constantly walked around, I mean, that's all you did. Yeah, I mean, eventually you would need to do that. And so because you would build yourself, it would be kind of weird, but you would build yourself to a certain degree of, you would have such a low tolerance of carbon dioxide that you'd just be used to panting all the time. And we've seen people like that, right? You've seen people like that, and it's not healthy. It's a sign of a person who isn't healthy, and it also is attributing at the same time to that person's poor health. So the best thing we can do, first of all, clean up your diet. I'm not, anyone who knows me knows that I love pizza, I love country fried steak. We're in the Midwest, okay? We have these foods, and I like sushi and all those other things. It's just, but here in the Midwest, we have this country fried steak. We have, of course, pizzas everywhere, but anyway, the point is, I'm not perfect. We all do need to clean up our diet. But if we clean up our diet, we will actually reduce that urge to overbreathe. Caffeine. Caffeine is literally when you ingest caffeine, you're putting yourself into a chemically induced sympathetic state. And it's very useful in some instances. But understand that habitual use, you're constantly in a sympathetic state. Your body and your mind believes constantly that you're running from a bear or any insert animal there. I'm sorry, for hitting on the bears so hard on this video. But you've got to understand, like, I like coffee a lot. But if I constantly drink coffee, and though I drink it in the morning, but that does put us into that state, which causes our breathing to change, and breathing patterns, they are affected over time. We are never not training. We're always training our body to do something, or to perform something, or to be better at something, or to adapt to something. So if we are constantly overbreathing, we will continue to overbreathe. Another thing that a lot of us do is shoulder breathing. So we sit down, we're at a desk all day, and just breathing up here in the shoulders, not even getting it down to the abdomen at all, just, and again, your body, even though we don't think about it, I mean, you might be just sitting there, watching television, but that's just the top of your chest breathing. And that tells your body, that tells your mind, hey, we're in danger, we're in fight or flight, you better make some changes. And that's what, and it's a switch that goes both ways. So, okay, so is overbreathing a bad thing? Yeah, generally it is. It's something that we should, in our regular daily life, try to avoid. How do we do that? Well, conscious breathing. Do I really need to breathe this fast? Can I slow it down? As you do that, your tolerance to carbon dioxide is going to increase, which means you don't need to breathe as hard. It really, that urge to breathe really is created by your body needing to exhaust. It's because it's the exhaust for your carbon dioxide. It has less to do with how much I need oxygen, which is definitely in there, but it has more to do with alleviating yourself from all of this extra carbon dioxide, which is generally a good thing. We have to have it happen, but oftentimes we are ridding ourselves way too much. One last point to just kind of hammer it home is that carbon dioxide is not a bad thing, and that whenever you are doing minimal breathing, when you're doing conscious breathing, and you're not constantly exhaling all that carbon dioxide also is a vasodilator. So it is something that helps us open our blood vessels, and it is a very good thing. So don't feel like oxygen is good, carbon dioxide is bad. Both of them are needed. So having said that, hopefully this has been helpful. Maybe it'll make you want to research this more. I recommend researching anything that has to do with breathing, and to improve your breathing just in a regular daily practice. Wim Hof method, there's again, Oxygen Advantage. The Buteyko practice of breathing is fantastic, and I'll talk about more of those in the future episodes. But for now, I've got to sign off. I'm going to go enjoy some more nature, and hopefully I'll go out and find somebody to be nice to. I'll find somebody out here in this woods. I don't know, that might be a little weird. But anyway, hopefully you've enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe, and go out there and be nice to people. Oh yeah.